thought about, can we use the file? File is the naive way, everybody knows, but it's a maybe, somebody already mentioned, different data structure. It's not like just the notepad, writing the name of a student, so on. It will be complicated to understand. So it has its own data structure in a file. So file is one of the way and the easiest way to create the storage of the relational database management system. Even the UBDB that I showed, we use the file. What is a file, by the way? File is any question can be answered. It's a data structure. It's also data structure. What kind of data? What is the purpose of this file data structure? Store the data. And how can you store the data in a file? Byte by byte, you can store the data. Okay, it's nothing but byte string. Because of that, in Java, how can you create the file? How can you open the file? How can you store the data into the file? File string. Because so from the computer point of view, it's not like the Windows style or the fancy nice such a book style. No, file is nothing but sequence of byte. Okay, finite number of bytes. It's a one line, really, one line byte. Even though you have a very complicated, nice the indentation, whatever, and new line, it doesn't matter for a computer. File is a sequence of byte. Plus, what? File has something, the operation. Because it's a data structure, it has operation, like to open the file, close the file, insert the byte, or delete the byte. Such a basic operation are implemented in the file. Who manages such a file? Operating system. Then operating system provide nice way to use such a file structure, system library. Okay, if you do not take the operating system, so please keep in mind that these are the very important concepts to understand the operating system. Anyway, it is true. Database is running on top of operating system. They rely on such the operating system, functionality, and component. So we can use the file then to store the database, relational database. How can we need to different the data structure? So first, file database is what? Set of data, right? Relation is a set of data. We are going to, even though, for example, this is actually 1 byte of the sequence data, visually we are going to see such a the X and Y notepad style, the file structure. But actually, this is like this byte string, sequence of byte. Because of that, this is the different story not related to this one. Have you ever used the FTP? Yeah. What is FTP? File Transfer Protocol. It's one of the protocol, like the HTTP or other protocol, is to transfer the file. Have you ever directly used the FTP, like using the secure shell FTP, STP or whatever? Nowadays, I realize that not many students are directly use the FTP, but some of them already use, like some window, so you can the drag and drop, but there might be command like the get or put command you can use in the FTP. There are two modes, whether or not you realize. In the FTP, there are two modes you can select when you transfer the file. Anyone who knows?
I think one of them define the
type of data.
Yeah.
What is the type of data? Binary or ASCII mode. So there are two types of mode. There are binary and ASCII mode. What is ASCII? ASCII is a number or numeric or predefined the symbol. Okay? What is a binary? Nothing but binary. It's not organized by the ASCII. So, but the FTP differentiate ASCII and the binary. Their bit by bit transfer is the same. Okay? The difference is ASCII mode is kind of text data that you know. But binary is the executable file or images. You cannot open the binary file using the editor, text editor. So what are the difference when you transfer binary mode or ASCII mode? ASCII mode, always text file has the new line character. What is a new line character? /n in Linux. What about the Windows? LF, line feeder. So this, can you see the /n? Can you see the LF, line feeder? Instead, when we visualize, it will be new line. This kind of thing is called a white character. It's inside in your file, but you cannot see. It's not visualized. It will be using the control. So because of this one, it will be new line. For example, I am Lee. Then if there exists, is it this or this? Backslash. Which one is backslash? Slash? First one? Always I got confused, but it's the right top. So my finger memorized, but my head cannot memorize. So you cannot see this one instead. UB. Right. Actually, inside here, I am Lee and /n UB, like this. So when you transfer the file using ASCII mode, this white character, new line character, will be converted based on the operating system. Because Unix and Windows, they are using different new line character. Because of this one, nowadays it's automatically identify what kind of operating system you use. So automatically the proper new line character is used. But long time still, in the IT department, your manager asked, why don't you download the file from the database server or the Unix server? Then it will be messed up. You cannot see the something new line because of this one. Then binary mode does not change because there is no new line. It's just binary. So it can directly. So that is the difference, binary mode and ASCII mode. That shows the difference of such a thing. So instead of the new line, the database need what? One data, which means one record and record. So database file, if you are defining database file, it needs record by record. So it consists of database file. Eventually this file will be used for what? Table. Table consists of number of record. Actually this one will be like the one record /n and another record, new line character, and another record. Like this one, but visually it can be viewed like this one. Okay? So this is a database file. So database file consists of number of records. Each record will be used for one data. Then, what is a row? What is a data? Consists of attribute, like the name. So 10 bytes used for name. And next, 10 bytes used for social security number. Next, 20 bytes used for address. Attribute. Same thing for the next record. 10 bytes for the name, 10 bytes for the SSN, 20 bytes for the address. So it has the same, the attribute. So each record consists of number of attributes. Then there are two ways to define each attribute. One is, for example, SSN. How many digits of SSN? How many bytes do you need to keep the SSN? Always It's a 10 byte in United States. Okay? So 3 byte, and 4 byte. It's a 10 byte. It's a fixed. Any social security number is a 10 byte. So it's not a problem. However, name, Professor Lee's name is Lee. Only 3 byte. But some of them, like the Patel, it's a 5 byte. So they are barriers. If we define the 10 byte for the name, all 10 byte will be used, but only used for less than 10 bytes sometimes. So there are two types of such a, one of them is a variable length. Another one is fixed length. For example, eventually this approach will be variable character type. Do you remember variable character? Probably you use a lot. This one, character. It's a fixed size. So this is not a problem. Fixed length, we know it's a 10 byte. However, variable length, we do not know where is the end. Okay? So to represent the variable length, there is something delimiter. To differentiate, like the very, very rarely used character or combination of the character, like the dot. Dot is the indicate end of variable length, or something. This one, the combination of this one. If this one is not rarely, is not used a lot, then this will be something indicator, delimiter of the end of such a variable length. Okay. So each attribute can be variable length or fixed length. Problem is the variable length. For example, when we update, last name is the first time Lee, and this is the end of the length. Then I decide to change it, the last name. Lee is, we cannot change it to this one. Why? Because it already has each byte after that has the data. We need to shift. It will be overhead. We need to point last one to the somewhere available one. Like this one will be the pointer to this, and this, like this one. This is called the chain. We can use the chain attribute in case update for the variable length. So this is the variable length of that. Then one more thing. This is a little bit confused part. Most of the students. It's a data structure. Then when we create one file, so like how can you create a file? Like the Notepad, Save As, or the Windows, the Linux, you can use the touch. Okay? If you touch, it's the 0 byte file will be created. And I have such a record and the definition of each record based on this one. Then physically, from now on, it's physically. Physically, when operating system create the file, this file will not be bigger and forever. Instead, it will be separated by the smaller the unit. 1, 2, and sometimes 3, if you need it, and 4. So this time, this unit is called block. And also this one is called block. So one file consists of number of blocks. But when you open this file, for example, I try to open this file using the Notepad. Can you see the block? No. You combine. Okay? Whenever you drag or the mouse, using the mouse and the C, it will be combined automatically. You may not see such a difference. However, physically, they will be separated by the block. So, why we are doing such a block? It's called a blocking. Why we separate one file into the number of blocks?
So that they can be loaded into the cache faster.
Cache faster. That's one reason. So his answer is we can Instead of loading all of this entire file, we can load block by block. That's the one reason. That's also the same answer as the correct answer, the main
Easy
reason.
to expand.
Expanse,
Expand.
expand. Also, so for example, what if we need the more data, we can block by block assign. Which means later in the operating system, you will discuss that this is the persistent disk, hard disk drive. They are sometimes occupied here, the small free space. If we have at least one block, we can assign block by block. That's another reason good. The main thing. Can you, if we already took all the operating system class, anyone who took the before operating system class? What is the basic I/O unit of operating system? I/O. What is the very basic? When you do something, any kind of I/O in the operating system, what is the basic data structure, basic unit of the I/O? Keyboard. Keyboard is one of the example of I/O. When you type and whenever network or the communication, what is the basic unit of the I/O in operating system?
BIOS.
Kernel,
BIOS.
device,
BIOS.
BIOS. BIOS is the operating system. It's the first operating system. It's the OS block. OS block is the very basic unit of I/O, which means when you read 1 byte of data from the operating system, like the keyboard sent only 1 byte? No, 1 block that includes the data. When you read the data from the hard disk drive, even though you need only 1 byte of data, 2 byte of data, entire block will be transferred. That is called the OS block size. What is the typical size of the OS block? Please retake the operating system. 512. 512 byte is the, which means even though I need 1 byte of the data, 512 byte will be transferred. Why? It can be used for the cache later. Who knows? Next byte will be reused. At the time, we don't have to transfer. It's a speed up. And also management, like this one. It's overall speed. So, same thing. Database will use such a same idea, blocking. Okay, blocking. So, number of block will be assigned to the file. It's a physical level. Okay? Because of that, you cannot see when you open this file. Then, what is the typical size of the database block? We are going to call that this is a database block. And what is the size? So 1 byte, 2 byte, 1 megabyte. It's a multiplier of what? Operating system block. That makes sense. So for example, if I'm using the 600 byte as a block, eventually operating system need how many I/O? 2 I/O, because operating system can access minimum 512 byte. Then the other, we need to do the another. So it's usually multiplication of OS block. Because of that, minimal size is a 512 byte. In general, 1K or 2K. Sometimes 4K. Sometimes several megabytes of the database block size. In other words, when you install the database, mostly you are not going to install the database, but if you will be if you are interested in the database administrator, you should be able to install and configure, change the option. First thing you need to decide is what is the database block size. It should be multiplication of this one. What's the basic idea? The smaller is the better or the bigger is the better? We cannot say. It depends on what? Your system type. For example, if your system is the online transaction processing, like the banking system or stock market system, which one is better? Smaller is better. Why? Because it needs a fast response time. On the other hand, if your system is the data warehousing system or the big data system, bigger is the better, smaller is the better. Bigger is the better. At that time, turnaround time, batch job time is more important. So that is the idea to decide the optimal size of it. So go back to here. So it's a blocking. It's based on the blocking. At this time, more important thing in the database is how many data, how many record, how many rows will be in the block. How many? It depends on the size of the record. Okay, for example, average size of the one record, average size, because sometimes variable, sometimes fixed. So average size of the record is 100 bytes. How many record in the 512 byte? Usually we use the capital letter B to represent the block size. So how many record in one block? 5. Actually 5.12. But to do that we need to separate. So because of that, let's say this is a 5 record. 5 record. We have to remain the 12. Okay, there are two options. You can remain this one. Okay? Or you can use this for the 6th record and connect to the next record block. Okay? Then, which one will be better? This one or connect? Depends. So, if your system needs maximize the utilization, I want to use all of them. The first approach and the second approach is better. Problem? If you need to access this record, how many IO? 2 IO. This is called also chained approach. In case of chaining, you need to access the multiple IOs. So this is another important thing when you manage the database. The more time you use in insert, update, select, delete, update, insert, then you will have more and more chain. In case you have a lot of chaining record, chaining the happen, your system will be really, really slow. So how can you address such a chaining problem? Your system is slower. How can you address it?
Define order.
Which means cache backup first. Delete your database. Create again and restore the backup data. Then there will be no chained data. Right? This is called reorganization. Sometimes in short it's called reorg. Reorg is if you search the Google and reorg DBA, reorg database, you will see a lot of complaint. This is one of the major jobs of the database administrator. Problem? It takes a long time. Why? You need to back up, create the database, remove the database, create and upload again. It takes a long time. Can you do this job during the daytime, service time? No, you cannot do that. Usually, midnight or weekend, even holiday only. And also, if something fails, you need to manually take care of such a failed job. Take really the stressful and takes the time and the painful. So this is one of the reasons why I quit my job. Somebody asked, really, the still database administrator is a high pay. Their salary is, for example, 3 to 5 years experience of the database administrator, there the average salary is around easily the 150K. Still, it was really high. Even when I quit, so 2002 I quit my job. So it's 15, 16 years ago. It was really tough. The paid the job, but no holiday, no weekend, and then even at that time I was kind of a junior and senior level. So even the overnight I worked, but I should watch the system in the morning. So no time to go back home. So my wife almost would try to kill me. So I decide quit there such a stressful job, and but somebody enjoy. And there are nowadays some intelligent way, online system you can reorganize. But the still best way is stop and back up and recreate and upload. This is still the preferred way to reorganize. Because of this one, we need the reorganization. Surprisingly, many of the administrators who are doing the reorganization, the task, they do not know why they need to this kind. Really, their manager who are for example, Oracle support center. My system slow, complain. Then they said, why don't you reorganize? Or I don't know how to reorganize. Then they send someone technician. Then do the same job, but they bill huge amount of money really. So, or you can do by yourself because it looks like the simple, but sometimes they do not know why. Because of this block approach. This block will use a lot later. At that time, so this is the blocking factor is 5, for example, in this case. Then this is called the blocking factor. BFR, blocking factor is the average number of records in this one. Later, why this one is important? What time is it? I saw already passed. The last one. Why this blocking factor is important? Later, when we measure the query optimization, we need the fastest way. How to decide which one is the fastest way? Most time-consuming operation is the I/O. In other words, we need to count number of I/O. This way, accessing employee 10,000, accessing the department 100. Which one will be faster? Accessing the department. By considering what number of I/O. Number of I/O is number of blocks. So, but you do not know how many blocks, so you need to count number of record divided by block size. That is the blocking factor. So using this thing, we will decide which one is the fastest way, which one that is a query optimizer. But before that, we will complete the more structure of the database of file in the next class. Next class is Monday. Wednesday, we will have the midterm exam. It's a paper-based. You don't have to bring
What chapter should we do?
except this one, all the things that we discussed. Okay. Database programming, you don't have to worry about too much. But the concept, idea, you should know. But I'm not going to ask what is the programming, for example, the PHP or the Python. So I'm not going to ask. But you should know SQL and relational algebra, also concept of the database programming. For example, such a method, strategy, so on. Okay, thank you, and we will see on Wednesday. Don't be late on Wednesday.